Okay, so what's up, guys? I kind of want to talk about this. I have this video up. This video was more like hypothetical. This video is going to be a lot more factual because I know a lot more about this that I just haven't really talked about because ever since I made that video on why I don't want to do guides, I kind of don't want to do guides, but I don't know. Sometimes talking about this stuff's very nice. So this guy said, what's good about using MC is that it boosts the damage of your shots outside of your laceration procs, plus the trigger probability buff, which is really good. It helps her proc her I6 and the spike damage from her consonance wedges. So your E is a guaranteed proc of the laceration. So if you ever want to lacerate stuff, you just press E. That's the first thing. But yeah,
now I'm mad.
I kind of just messed around with this. I always assume maybe I just got lucky. But yeah, the trigger probability does seem to affect the laceration, so... But I think, what is it? You're at 50% anyway, so who cares if you're at 50% with a multi-shot, really, right?
Who's the target today?
I like how I said, oh, I'm doing this all factually, and then I just go on a I think. But yeah, like, your trigger probability is 50% anyway, so I don't really think you're caring about it. As long as you hit your multi-shot, it's kind of a waste, like, who cares? Who cares? So to me, that's kind of like a whatever factor. Because if you're doing it in content where you really want the laceration when you're doing it in content, like a big boss or something, right? We'll probably go to that later, right? This is just better, right? Any content where you want to proc the laceration, that's just better. Currently, this Q, right?
Now I'm mad.
You don't have enough like procs to like hit that laceration, you know what I'm saying? So like you could hear, right? Boom, 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 right there, right? At max attack speed, like, you know, we're not max demon wedges. It's gonna take about like 3 more months just for us to get max gold demon wedges, so that's something that'll take a while. But you know, you're taking a lot of time into this laceration, and you're procking it pretty fast anyway. Like, you saw the laceration procs, they were just pretty much always up, and it doesn't require it. It helps a little bit for the consistency, I will say, so it's not like it's the worst thing. But the biggest thing that this guy said is this, and this is a big part of it that I was going to talk about. I was going to make a video on trigger probability and explain how kind of cracked trigger probability is, right? The trigger probability buff, which is really good and helps proc her I6 and the spike damage from her consonance weapon. Okay, so this is very important because this is very niche. If you're going to do mediation, and there's that big giga bomb that's in the middle, this is low-key cracked. You put MC on, the MC procs a shield, but then you're gonna have to wait for the enemies to come, so the MC can proc shield. MC's AI is kind of papega, so it's not like you're gonna get to the bomb, shoot the bomb through the little window, and then, like, you know, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna have to wait for the MC to proc the shield, so it's all based off of that. But when you have enough duration and uptime, like, it'll last, the buff will last pretty long. So, but the big thing is, Spike does 1.5x damage.
Who's the target today?
Right? Spike, right? Spike does 1.5x damage. So it really does help your DPS. And when you have 100% trigger probability for free, for enemies that have HP, and so that's a big thing about Spike, and this is one thing I want to get into. Spike isn't universal damage, where if you just build into skill damage and you have a character that gives you damage boost and skill damage, you'll have more DPS in general because you'll be doing more damage with the weapon, and then you'll hit those laceration procs, right? Fatter. And the weapon damage, your Q damage will also help. So there's a little bit of like that overlap, but it's still kind of giga mode. And now here's the big thing, right? Right here. So we can go here. I don't know how many of these enemies we can summon with, that would be weird. Let's do like level 110. Right, because this is gonna be and we'll summon like, I think we'll summon like 2 of these guys, and then we'll summon like 2 of these guys, okay? And so right here, right, when we do E, right, we're doing a lot of damage, right? And this is where spike is gonna come into play right here. And it's all gonna matter about enemy type, right? But over here, right, we'll go. And then we'll hit it. And we'll get the damage, right? And we'll do this. And this was a lot less time. But it was able to do a lot of HP damage, like to this guy. It was like so much, right? And it's because of the spike damage. So when you have the MC over here, right? And the MC increases our weapon damage and our trigger probability and all of this stuff, right?
Now I'm mad.
Then you're gonna start having a lot more DPS. But this is more for enemies with HP, right? And that's the big thing. And so is it universal damage? No, because you're going to fight a big Primander. The Primander is going to have shield. You're going to run up. You're going to press Q like this. And then you're going to do nothing. And then you're going to run out of all your sanity. The same thing with a boss. You're going to go. You're going to fight a boss. And bosses are a lot more about attrition than damage. Right? You're going to go. You're going to bust your Q. And you're not going to have enough Serenity and Duration to then deal... you're not going to have enough mana from... sanity from the duration. Right? From... was it? From Serenity. And you're gonna need to build your skill efficiency and all those stats up. Whereas this is boom, 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 right? And even now, like, I'm not using any sanity, but if I was to go over here, right, sure, I could have more DPS on an enemy, but you're gonna have more DPS for this set amount of time, and then you're not gonna have any. And then you can say, well, if I want to have more DPS and I want to do this, right? Why don't I just equip this and remove some of these and then just go like Wings Inspo, right? And you'll get Wings Inspo and then you'll get more sanity and a lot more skill efficiency. And then you'll just be sad because then you'll lose a lot more DPS, right? When the real answer to a lot of this is, sadly, and it sucks because I talked about this in my Gold Demon Warriors video, you're gonna want to get your
Are we going on an adventure today?
not this one, it's on Filbert.
Wakey,
You're gonna want to get your Serenity up, because once this Serenity's up, this is gonna be 14 every 3 seconds. But this is gonna take like a year. It sucks. I need to fix this. So until that happens, right, how you're going to counter those diminishing returns is you're going to need like 300% skill duration. And maybe like 150 skill efficiency, somewhere around there. And then maybe you get like 250. It's really, really if you're going to... And so in order to invest in those stats, you're going to have to remove some damage. And that's going to be where your build lies. And then the big thing is... your uptime with this right here, your preload, is also going to matter because you're going to want to boom, do your preload, and then have maximum uptime on your preload. That's also going to be another factor into it. So all of those are going to play into it when the simplest answer for any content where you really need to do a lot of damage and have that, right? 80% of the time, right, you're gonna go up, hit Q, and then do this. And I was doing some bounty runs with a lot, because I think bounty runs are the best run right now. And there are a lot of Lyns that would be using the dual weapon thing, and they'll have the dual weapon, and then they'll jump, and then they'll do their Q, and they'll do this. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I didn't pull it up. We're just kind of gonna go off the cuff here, off the he's. But for fun, let's see if I can find a bounty real quick. Let's see, ooh, right? I would have a lot of bounties where I would be the person at the end that did max damage, and 80% of the time I'm just standing like this and I'm just yapping, and it's kind of just vibing because I would have more than 50% damage dealt, which literally meant I just had the most damage. And that's just because I'm playing around my damage buff and my uptime. And so the reality of it is, if you want the most damage, this is what you're going to be doing. And this is me doing more damage than Lady Knifle's I6, where people are saying, oh, she's broken, oh, she's insane, oh, this, right? And meanwhile, we're over here, right? We're going to this boss, and then we're doing, this guy ruined it. This is actually such a bad run. I was actually crashing out over this because I don't know what it is. The last, I don't know if his laceration proc was messing up my laceration proc. That's something else I gotta talk about. That's tilting. Or mine just wasn't, I wasn't hearing mine proc or something. It was so grief. It was so grief, and I just got tilted. I was like, I don't care if this run ends. So that's one thing. I don't really want to run Lynn anymore in co-op. So that's why the next character I'm gonna be using is gonna be Lizbel. She's I4. I'm gonna get her I6 next week. Don't worry about it. She's coming up next. Zany 2.0 is coming back up. But yeah, this right here, at the end, right? Even though I'm just sitting there doing nothing 80% of the time, right? Try to go up over here, right? Consistently, right? And these are Knifles and stuff, and all this. That character's busted. This guy doesn't have the bow, but right here, 58% of the damage dealt was me, and half of the time I was just standing there, kind of vibing, right? And I could go through and just show more, but I don't want to waste people's time. There's no point. I just kind of grabbed the first one that I could see. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing. And yes, to conclude, yes, this character and using her as a support for Lynn is a DPS increase. It is a DPS increase, but it's only a DPS increase if you're fighting an enemy without shield, right? And that you can get maximum damage output within your window of skill efficiency. So whatever your rate of skill efficiency to DPS is, right? That's where the damage lies. Actually, we could actually go to the boss because I kind of wanted to do this.
Who's the target today?
Right, to Vibes Max. Because you can actually see it's more DPS. It's factually more DPS. It is. If you're fighting bosses, but the bosses have too much HP, and then you're gonna run out of sanity. So over here, right? But for something like Dismantle or like Mediation, where you're just doing HP damage, it actually makes a difference, and it can save you like 10 seconds on a run. It can. This Sybil, there's not Sybil. I don't want to do combat on it, that's not Sybil. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, and this one's just more of a showing. So the big thing about like the MC is that because the MC gives like 100% trigger, we don't need to build trigger on our character, which is actually such a big thing. But you know, it's right here. So first one we'll do just E vibing. We'll go Filbert and Tentacle. Right.
Tabethe the Red Hand has arrived.
So right here. Right. I have Boxy on too. I don't have the multi-shot dude, so that's kind of dookie, but right. You can see our damage, right? It's really solid, like. And the thing is, we don't have to stand in place to do this. It gives us a lot of flexibility, right? And right here, we have no problems with sanity, right? None whatsoever. And then right here, we get the weakness exposed, and she's dead. I don't know how long that took, maybe like a minute. Right? Someone can time it. Someone can time it. You can time it. You can go back and scrub the video. I don't care. That's not my job. And then the next thing is, all right, we're gonna run Filbert and MC. So we go over here. We'll start it. Right here. We'll just do Q because Q is good. All right.
Now I'm mad.
And right here you can see it's a lot more DPS. It is. Right? But if you look at my sanity, right? Currently,
Not bad.
my sanity's getting cooked.
Keep it up.
Right. And we can do one more where we take out the MC just so you see the difference. But right here, right? At the end of the day,
Meaningless struggle.
right?
Show me what you
Yeah, it's so unlucky. That's so unlucky. It's outside of it. But right there, that's on me for pressing E. But once I get more duration, it'll kind of even out for sure. Once I get my gold covenants and efficiency and all that stuff. But you can see it's a lot of DPS, right? And I just for concept, I kind of have to switch her out just so you can see.
That's it.
But for like bosses and stuff, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. And so for that type of content, like that weapon damage bonus is actually really good because I don't think it overlaps with like the skill damage and stuff we have. So it's like a different multiplier or modifier. So we're not hitting our diminishing returns there. That's a big part of it. And also it's the spike damage. That spike damage is like chunky. It's 1.5x. So our pistols that are normally doing like around like 50k or something are just doing way more. So last one we'll do is Filbert. And then we'll do Tabethe. And then right here, we'll go over here. And then, go over here. And then...
You asked for it.
Maybe it's not more DPS.
Not bad, I must say.
That skill damage is kind of fat. Those lacerations are kind of chunky. And hey, yo, maybe I was lying. No, it's definitely more. It's definitely more DPS because the shots are just doing way less.
Meaningless
But
struggle.
I'm just doing this to show you guys. You guys can come up with your own conclusions. Like, it literally seems like, actually, right? I'd say the skill damage one. No, I pressed E before. So, because I pressed E, it's a little bit different. But right there, you can also see that, right here when Sybil was getting attacked and stuff, right? She was kind of like just getting bodied, you know. And I will say, we weren't close enough to the boss, I think, to get the shield. And so I think one of the shields was wasted on MC. But right there, you can see, like, generally, you're not getting that much crazy difference of a clear, right? Regardless. Generally. Like, we got up to a point, like, within our sanity, our bar wasn't even, like, that much different. You know what I'm saying? It's just more for, like, the burst and, like, the consistency of the damage bar. You saw the consistency. Whereas when we hit the lacerations with Tabethe, those lacerations were fat. And it could just be, they don't snapshot and stuff, so it could just be like when the Filbert buff happened with the Tabethe buff, it was when the laceration was. This isn't really scientific, but the whole purpose of the video was just to show how, like, yes, spike damage and trigger probability are a big part of the kit, and doing 1.5x damage when you have a skill damage bonus and a damage boost modifier, it's kind of good. It's kind of good, and then plus the weapon damage, so then you're doing 1.5x plus the 50% weapon damage. Like, and my MC isn't even like 10, right?
today?
So.
The world outside Purgatorio.
Oh no, yeah, she's not 10.
Counts. More expansive.
So
Yet more brutal.
we could get more juice on her,
This
right? For
cannot
sure.
be
So,
its true destiny.
versus
We're going on an adventure
my
today.
my Tabethe's level 8, so it's about the same. So yeah, that's it. It's just more to show the concept of the trigger probability and this factor of it. Like, as you can see, it's not too much, but it's something to think about. And when we get more demon wedges and more multipliers and more stuff like that, more support weapons and stuff, it's definitely something that'll add up, and then there'll be, like, conclusive. But currently, especially with this testing, like, I didn't even realize, like, you know, we just saw, like, they're about the same. I actually kind of want to see it and, like, look back. I can't wait. But yeah, bye-bye.